welcome to TW Teleproductions Game of the Week as we pull up stakes in the den this week at St. Mary's Central Catholic High School, the big backyard rivalry between the Panthers and Perkins Pirates. And good to have you with us once again as well. We really come down the home stretch of this high school basketball season. And this year is, of course, when you Perkins fans would say throw out the records because it's always even. And it's been the other way in years gone by. The coaching staffs all together before the game, but Perkins in this game at 1-17 overall, and St. Mary's at 16-2. Some things you just don't battle with, you know. But obviously always more electricity in the air. The youngest fog in the throng as well. But always extra electricity for this matchup between Perkins and St. Mary's. Again, no matter what records are, fans always show up, always enthusiastic and ready to go. It's backyard bragging rights. It's got to be the one game.
All I gotta say is, the spread makers say we're gonna lose by 16. Hey, come on. You know, this is like Ohio State, Michigan here. Ohio State, Michigan. If you throw the records away, if you got a dead dog, you don't just kick them and wake them up. You don't wake the sleeping giant of the Perkins Pirates. I got confidence in Seaside, cannon threes all night. Upset City, possible. I got all the confidence in the world in those guys.
Definitely away with words. Well, I love the garb and every which other thing. You know, there's many basketball teams, football teams throughout the area that are never the same through graduation. Perkins cheering section will never be the same after a certain graduation as well, as we well know. We'll hear more, but right now we look at some of the other fans on tap, young and old alike, that get into this and wear the colors of the blue and gold and the black and white, getting set for this action here at the Den. Some of the youngest members of the next girls basketball dynasty to come through the Den. Front row is a dangerous place to sit in the Den. You better come dressed for the occasion. Senior night as well, as it's the home finale. Final home game for the seniors. St. Mary's Central Catholic. Some of the younger Panthers there as well. Dude, there's fogs all over that gymnasium, for crying out loud. A lot of the junior high bunch. Dave Whedon after the radio crew, along with Steve Poe and Chuck Miller, bringing the game home to radio listeners. Even Ray Ripping's sticking in there on the other side with a night off from work, still enjoying the ball game. Tom Kovaleski of St. Mary's on the left, Theron James of the Pirates on the right. A lot of spirited games going on with those two gentlemen at the helm. And here are some of the seniors they're saying goodbye to. Tom Fluting, unfortunately injured, not able to play. Hopefully back for this weekend's action. Brian Wagner has the biggest cheering section in Northern Ohio. Matt Borsick, Derek Matthews, an emotional night for all of these seniors. He's had a great playing career, and it just obviously means a lot to him. Gary Lawrence is behind him, and of course Patrick Phillips. It's kind of mixed emotions kind of night, because these guys have enjoyed a tremendous career. They've been part of the resurgence of the St. Mary's basketball program, and when you look at their varsity squad at 17-2 this year, and the JV squad with the exact same record, You like to think that things are going to be on a pretty even keel in the den for several years to come. Away we go, getting the ball game started, and the tip being controlled by the Pirates to start off the evening. And right off the bat, Perkins on the board quickly. Starting five for the Pirates: Corey Seiler, Mike Miller, Chris Schultz, Brandon Roll, and Donnie Graber. And Patrick tying the game at a deuce. Over the years, we've seen the Pirates with that in-your-face full-court defense. St. Mary's this year, when they're really on a roll, playing good full-court defense. And of course, when you're making shots, pressure becomes so much easier to put on. Mike Miller from the corner draining a three and putting the Pirates up on top 5-2. We have seen the Pirates in the past this year get off to some pretty solid starts, but then fade as the evening wears on, unable to sustain. Adam Kowaleski banging one off the rim, and Pirates on the board with Brandon Roll. Derek Matthews getting the Panthers to within one at 5-4. Matthews in the starting lineup, along with Adam Kowaleski, Matt Borsick, Patrick Phillips, and Gary Lawrence. All senior starting lineup for the Panthers in their last home game together. Right, here's some of the untypical game plan of the Pirates. Got to work the ball around a little bit when, you know, all the guns are loaded on the other side. Patience sometimes can be the best battle plan. As you take a look right here, is getting the open look at the basket. Dan Corey Seiler getting the Pirates up by 3 at 7-4. Game of the Week sponsors include BGSU Firelands College with your slow motion replays. Each week our assist to the game is sponsored by Hobie Career Center with the education you need. Fan of the Week is sponsored by Parshauer Eye Center on Hayes Avenue. And our halftime each and every telecast brought to you by Heimeiler Food Stores. 5 convenient locations. Play of the game coming up tonight later on for Firelands Regional Medical Center. And three-pointer of the week will be sponsored by the Cameo. Player of the game, as always, sponsored by Matthews Ford Lincoln Mercury on East Perkins. 2.5 minutes in, and the three-point lead is on the Pirate side of the board. Kowaleski with a timeout to work out a few of the kinks early on. It is just really tough to match up one-on-one with Phillips, and Matt Borsick doing a nice job of sneaking in to grab that rebound for a 7-6 Perkins lead as the Panthers get back within one. Gary Lawrence at the defensive end. The Pirates go to work again. Brandon Roll going baseline to Seiler. We're working the perimeter, and Roll from long distance unable to find the mark. Adam Kowaleski for Patrick Phillips on the drive. And the Panthers with their first lead of the ball game, courtesy of Phillips, 8-7. This baseline drive by Donnie Graber as he got the opening to drive baseline. See a lot of work being done around the outside until they find Brandon Roll to the basket. Foul. Roll will tie the game at 9. Tie the game at 8 and then give the Pirates a 1-point lead. And the Perkins defense goes to work again. Brandon Roll again on the boards for the Pirates. This is Aaron Richardson. Derek Matthews scrambling after that rebound and just slithering through traffic. If Patrick gets the ball down low like that, he can turn the lights out. 10-9 as the Panthers go back up. Mike Miller getting some helpful hints from John Schlesman as Aaron Richardson heads to the line. Kyle Kelly right there representing some of that real solid future we talked about earlier for St. Mary's. He's been a starter all season long. In fact, a solid 2-year varsity player for the Panthers as just a sophomore, but part of a really deep sophomore class at St. Mary's. Predominantly that sophomore class that got that 17-2 JV record this season. Gary Lawrence gives the Panthers their biggest lead of 3 at 12-9. Derek Matthews always looking to quicken the pace of a game, and boy, that one is just coast to coast Derek Matthews. 14-9, Panthers by 5. Watches once again off the rebound. He just puts his eyes on the rim, and unless somebody's going to stop him, he's going to take it the distance. And the Panthers with a 5-point advantage after that Matthews drive. Look in the background there and see very few open seats as they pack into the den. And Phillips packing another one in at the other end for St. Mary's, and a 7-point lead at 16-9. St. Mary's on an 8-point run right there to go from 1 down to 7 up. String finally broken on the pull-up jumper, and the lead at 16-11. After watching St. Mary's score 8 in a row, Kevin Keller comes back to give the Pirates a 4-point run to get back to within 3. Well, when you stand next to the camera, you get lots of airtime. Slicing through traffic, but couldn't get the roll. And the Panthers back to work at the offensive end as the first quarter starts winding down toward a close. Pirates trying to play beat the clock, and Gary Lawrence says, not this time. Guys are loving the action in the den after one quarter. St. Mary's Central Catholic 18, Perkins 13 on TW Teleproductions. Game of the week.
Max and Irma's, Sandusky's new hometown favorite. Show your ticket stub before or after any game and receive 10% off your total food bill. Max and Irma's, a Schuster family concept in front of the Sandusky Mall. The Game of the Week brought to you by the law firm of Buckingham, Lukol, McGookie, and Zier, serving your community for over 50 years with offices in Sandusky and Vermilion. Barnes Nursery and Garden Center, Ohio's finest. Chicago Hair, 2 locations. Chet and Matt's Family Pizza, the best around. Key Bank, Washington Row and Columbus Avenue. Ruth Realty, Coldwell Banker. Margaritaville, Mex-American Cuisine. The Portland House. When you move to the Portland House, you change your address, not your lifestyle. The Cable System, we never forget you're watching. Gallagher's, home of Pittsburgh Paints. Precision Body and Frame, The Professionals. Vacationland Federal Credit Union, 2 locations to serve you best. Asher Brothers Auto Parts, your Auto Pride Auto Parts dealer. Advanced Health, Orthopedic Sport and Spine Rehabilitation Center of Erie County. Our strength is quality. All Phase Power and Lighting is proud to be a sponsor of the Game of the Week. All Phase Power and Lighting is the area's premier electrical contractor. Good luck to all area athletes and fans from All Phase Power and Lighting.
Welcome back once again to second quarter action on our Game of the Week as the Pirates start out the second quarter with the basketball and getting that baseline jumper, which there are games where it'll seem like Mike Miller just can't miss those shots. First one missing there, though, in the second quarter, and the Panther 5-point lead remains intact. And then there's other nights where you just can't get the roll. Can't get anything to go your way. Donnie Graber hitting that pull-up jumper, and it keeps the Pirates within 3 at 18-15. The second quarter. St. Mary's came out of the gates and watched Perkins score first, then would decide to take no prisoners. When the notch gets turned up a little bit, and St. Mary's has had some spells this year where they are just downright devastating at times. Phillips just going to work along with Lawrence. Graber having to do a little double clutch with the defense right in his face right there. Officials decide to have a little social hour with both head coaches here. Any kind of quizzical looks from both coaches. Matthews Ford Lincoln Mercury, our Game of the Week sponsor for Player of the Game. Three-pointer of the week, courtesy of the good folks at Cameo Pizza, celebrating 65 years. Play of the Game is sponsored each and every telecast by Firelands Regional Medical Center, celebrating the past and focusing on the future. Halftime coming up in this telecast for High Miler Food Stores with 5 convenient locations. And our Fan of the Week will be courtesy of Parshauer Eye Center on Hayes Avenue. The education you need comes from the Hovey Career Center, sponsor of our Assist of the Game. Slow motion replays each and every week, courtesy of BGSU, Firelands College, your university opportunity. Kind of a mysterious hush in the den right now as they wait for their ball club to get pumped up a little bit. They'll have their moments. Connie Graber getting trapped down low and unable to get it up to the basket. Patience is great, but sometimes it also forces you into mistakes as the Panthers take over again. Kowaleski finding Phillips down low, and again, there's just not many one-on-one matchups that Patrick doesn't have the answer for. And the Panthers build their lead to 7. They can look once again. If he has any kind of room to go to the hoop whatsoever, he'll find a way to get there. Phillips at the defensive end, showing he can do the assist role rather well, also feeding Adam Kowaleski for a 9-point Panther lead and a Perkins timeout. Kevin Keller getting the Pirates back to within 7. Dominic Giardino with a steal and left-handed layup. A nice move by Matthews on that pull-up jumper in the lane. And the Panthers now starting to heat things up a bit. Back up to a 9-point advantage right here as you watch Matthews from the left side. And you can just sense that momentum starting to gain some steam right here. And usually they have got that running game in full gear when things are going well. Phillips at work on the offensive boards. Kyle Kelly saying, "You got to be kidding me." And see what this does, how patient Perkins was earlier. Now all of a sudden the Pirates are starting to get into the helter-skelter kind of pace that St. Mary's really likes to play. And in other years, Perkins has liked it too, but then you've got the mental mistakes that start coming into the game as well. Gary Lawrence 13-point lead right here, the biggest of the first half for St. Mary's at this point. It's Chris Schultz getting some varsity court time. And one of the ones we were told, if you were listening carefully to the pregame, that would be responsible for keeping the Pirates within that 16-point limit and possibly pulling the upset. Matthews, Borsick, Phillips. And Patrick at the line, increasing the Panther lead to 33-19. Phillips, Kelly, and finally Lawrence putting it in. That pass was from Phillips, then Kelly, seeing he wasn't going to get a clear shot, finds Lawrence, and Gary ends up capping that one off for a 35-19 advantage. It's currently an 11-point run that the Panthers are enjoying, and they're not done yet. But you get everybody collapsing to Patrick, and then he's going to start dishing them off like that. There's definitely a problem that develops there to try to defense that. St. Mary's closing out the first half with a 13-point run that took them from a 5-point advantage to 19 at the half, and all the fans dressed in blue and gold on their feet supporting their players as they head off to the locker room with a 37-19 lead on TW Teleproductions Game of the Week.
Firelands Regional Medical Center, Sandusky. Marconi's, the best Italian restaurant in the area. The Citizens Banking Company, serving you since 1884. Polar Sheet Metal Works, your local Bryant dealer. The J.A. Truth Packing Company, quality people making quality pork products. Casper Transportation, Buick, Pontiac, and GMC trucks. Lee's Famous Recipe, the best chicken you'll find anywhere. The Community at Parkview, Retirement Community and Health Care Center. Coach's Sports Corner in the Sandusky Plaza. The Castelia Banking Company, 208 Washington Street, Castelia. For the best in wall covering and flooring needs, Creative Floors is the only place to go. Creative Floors offers quality, service, value, and design. Creative Floors, from floors to walls, we cover it all. Groff Funeral Homes, caring for our community since 1902. Berardi's Family Kitchen, tastes a homemade touch. Gilbert Heating and Air Conditioning, the service company since 1958. The United Way of Erie County, the way America cares, community by community. Cameo Pizza, rated best pizza in Sandusky. The Portland House. When you move to the Portland House, you change your address, not your lifestyle. Sandusky Paint, your local Pittsburgh paint dealer. Butler Auto Glass, your PPG Pro Stars dealer. The Sandusky Register, voted best daily newspaper 2 years in a row. The AV Lake Construction Company, committed to building service. Snow Trails, Ohio's first and finest ski resort. The Castelia Banking Company, 208 Washington Street, Castelia.
Time now for halftime activity, sponsored by Heimeiler Food Stores, as we go into the den for a study of lots of different personalities this week. your halftime activities for High Miler food stores with 5 convenient locations.
Max and Irma's, Sandusky's new hometown favorite. Show your ticket stub before or after any game and receive 10% off your total food bill. Max and Irma's, a Schuster family concept in front of the Sandusky Mall. The Game of the Week brought to you by the law firm of Buckingham, Lukul, McGookie, and Zaire, serving your community for over 50 years with offices in Sandusky and Vermilion.
And this week's Erie County Visions is sponsored by the law firm of Buckingham, Lukul, McGookie, and Zaire, serving your community for over 50 years as we take you this week way out to Shank Road in Perkins Township and the Pipe Creek area. Enjoy. Hard to believe something so peaceful can be a wintertime day in northern Ohio, but there you go, out to Shank Road and Pipe Creek. Erie County Vision, sponsored by the law firm of Buckingham, Lukul, McGookie, and Zaire. Let's get back to basketball in the Den, where St. Mary's closed the first half out on a 13-point run for an 18-point lead. And the second half would begin with the Pirates in control of the basketball. This is something that it's been so familiar to Perkins fans through the years, is those runs. Some of the best teams that TJ's had in the Terror Dome will hit you with those runs once in a while, and they just make all the difference in a ball game. Panthers extend the run now to 15 straight. And a 20-point advantage at 39-19. A baseline drive by Mike Miller, who finally break the run, which actually ended up at 17 straight before Miller hits that baseline driver. But the Panthers right back to work again. Adam Kowaleski stretching it out to 45-21. That's a little bit too much for the Pirates to overcome. This SBC is coming right down. A nice left-hand drive by Chris Schultz. This SBC race right down to the final night. You've got St. Mary's and Port Clinton knotted up with just 2 losses atop the league. And Huron just a game back with 3 losses. St. Mary's and Huron, of course, matching up in the final weekend of play, and that's what you'll see next week as well on our Game of the Week presentation. The only way Huron grabs a piece of the SBC is if it's a 3-way tie. They have to beat St. Mary's, and Port Clinton would have to lose at home against Oak Harbor. We watch Shannon Lyons score for the Pirates. And of course, St. Mary's or Port Clinton with wins lock up at least their share of the SBC championship on closing night. A lot of things to be decided yet in the SBC. And look out, you can see the fans coming to their feet. They knew it was coming. Patrick gets ahead of the pack. The Raptors are going to rumble. And these guys are so good at seeing it, too. They'll look for him. Kovaleski with the assist. And you can see the fans in the background gradually coming to their feet. Kaboom. Patrick with that baseline drive and the jam. And that is always a crowd pleaser in the den. Somehow Phillips got through there with a basketball intact. Add on to the St. Mary's lead. Senior night for cheerleaders as well in the den. As we look at our Game of the Week sponsors, they include Matthews Ford, Lincoln Mercury, your A&Z Plan headquarters, Cameo Pizza on West Monroe Street, celebrating 65 quality years in Sandtown. Firelands Regional Medical Center, celebrating the past, yet focusing on the future. Heimeyer Food Store is one of our Game of the Week sponsors. They've got 5 convenient locations across the North Coast, as well as Parshauer Eye Center, located at 2020 Hayes Avenue. The Hobie Career Center, providing the education you need at their campus in Milan. And BGSU Firelands College on Rye Beach Road in Huron, who of course brings you our slow motion replays each and every week. Anyway, talk real quick about the big night of closing action in the SBC, but also the scenario that's going on right now in the Great Lakes League is kind of neat as well, because you've got the top 4 teams all meeting this Friday night, and all 4 of those teams could end up tying for the league championship. Sandusky plays at Findlay. The Streaks are a game behind the Trojans. Fostoria plays against Fremont, and Fostoria game back. So if Fostoria beats Fremont and Sandusky beats Findlay, you get a 4-way tie for the GLL championship, and that's not that far-fetched of a scenario. And we've got a lot of fun activities that will be coming up on Friday night. Powerful rebound again by Phillips. Phillips at the line. Baseline pull-up jumper by Richardson coming down short of the mark. Phillips raking that rebound out of there and leaving a band of defenders behind. Lawrence drawing the foul to head to the charity stripe. Action going on away from the basketball right there, taking that basket away from Giardina, and St. Mary's taking the ball away from Perkins. I don't know of any player in the SBC that can stop that power move by Patrick to the hole. That's just like head and shoulders above the rest this season. He gets the ball down low in a man-to-man scenario. It is just awfully tough to stop him, and many have tried, and can slow him once in a while, but boy, to shut him down, it's a very difficult thing to do. Nice move to the basket by Donnie Graber. He'll get the basket plus a free throw. Pirates not doing a lot of scoring. After the first quarter, they got outscored in the second period 19-6. And the third quarter, 29-13. Those middle two quarters just killers. Phillips with another one of his rebounds. Consistently in double digits in rebounds from game to game this year. Top rebounder in the area. Near the top of the list as far as scoring is concerned. And Gary Lawrence getting the roll on that three-point basket to increase the Panther lead again. Make it 32-point spread as the Panthers double the Pirates at 64-32. You know, something that's lost in the translation here too is the risk that Tom Whaley, our camera person, is taking by standing right there. You get along that baseline, you can be in harm's way. Panthers 66-32. Giving it up for the good of the telecast, folks. Fan club disappointed the shot didn't come right there. You can hear him groaning in the background. And your third quarter comes to a close. That basket not counting. 3 periods in the books in the Den. You've got St. Mary's way out in front here, 66-32. TW Teleproductions Game of the Week, fourth quarter coming up next.
Ehovie Career Center, the education you need. Matthews Ford Lincoln Mercury. Matthews has it all. Sandusky Orthopedic Surgeons and Rheumatology in the Firelands Professional Building. Remax Quality Realty, 1610 Cleveland Road. Wendy's Old Fashioned Hamburgers, 3 great locations. Autos Incorporated, your local Armstrong dealer. See Bill Kohler for all your heating and air conditioning needs. Corso's Flower and Garden Center since 1941. David F. Cook Funeral Home, family owned and operated. Sandusky Motors, your Honda, Volkswagen, and Audi dealer. Wagner Quarries, crushed limestone products. Firelands Regional Medical Center, School of Nursing. The Cable System, we never forget you're watching. The Parshauer Eye Center, 2020 Hayes Avenue. Asher Brothers Auto Parts, your Auto Pride Auto Parts dealer. Barnes Nursery and Garden Center, Ohio's finest. Chet and Matt's Family Pizza, the best around. Join the fun and meet your friends at the area's newest place to be, Manny's Sports Tavern and Grill, on the corner of Bogert and Milan Roads. Manny's Sports Tavern and Grill. See you at Manny's.
Up next, your Fan of the Week. It's sponsored by Parshauer Eye Center at 2020 Hayes Avenue.
Spread makers say we're going to lose by 16. Hey, come on. You know, this is like Ohio State, Michigan here. Ohio State, Michigan. If you throw the records away, if you got a dead dog, you don't just kick them and wake them up. You don't wake the sleeping giant of the Perkins Pirates. I got confidence in Seaside, handing threes all night. Upset City. It's possible.
Possibly. That's what I mean. We're going to miss Brett Cook at graduation. I'll tell you that right now. He's our Parshauer Eye Center Fan of the Week.
Wall covering and flooring needs, Creative Floors is the only place to go. Creative Floors offers quality, service, value, and design. Creative Floors. From floors to walls, we cover it all. Barnes Nursery and Garden Center, Ohio's finest. The J.A. Truth Packing Company. Quality people making quality pork products. The A.V. Lake Construction Company, committed to building service. Advanced Health, Orthopedic Sport and Spine Rehabilitation Center of Erie County. Our strength is quality. The Citizens Banking Company, serving you since 1884. Cook Building Products, your local Anderson Service Network dealer. 1615 East Perkins Avenue, Sandusky. Bowling Green State University, Firelands College. High Miler Food Stores with 5 convenient locations. Snow Trails, Ohio's first and finest ski resort. The Lodge at Sawmill Creek Resort. Toft Funeral Home and Crematory. Stephen J. Toft, owner. Cliffs Carryout. Good luck to all area athletes from the Shirk family. Window Plumbing and Heating. Vacationland Federal Credit Union. 2 locations to serve you best. The Cable System. We never forget you're watching. The Community at Parkview. Retirement Community and Health Care Center.
I'll tell you, some of the weather we've been getting lately may not look like wintertime, but all rumors coming forward here show that Snow Trails in Mansfield still has some great skiing conditions, and it's going to be a little chilly this weekend, so a great weekend to get out and enjoy their winter carnival that's going to be going on. And every year they have the bikini races and bratwurst on the hill, and some great wintertime fun going on all weekend long at Snow Trails in Mansfield. And it's one of the highlights everyone looks forward to every year, that winter carnival. Fourth quarter action in the Den. Perkins scoring first, but it's a matter of by how much in this one. 66-34 as the Pirates get the first points of the quarter on the board. Pirates have quite a matchup coming up this weekend too, because they're going to be taking on the Edison Chargers. And earlier this year when they met, it was a 3 overtime contest before Edison came up the winner. And that'll be the way the Pirates close down their regular season action. And, you know, go figure the way this stuff works out when you talk about tournaments. You know, the Pirates have had so many outstanding ball clubs through the years. Some of them have gotten seeded at the Sandusky High Sectional and never seem to come up with, you know, an easy draw of it. Now this year their record is a little bit on the downside from where they would like it to be, but they get a first round bye and go right to the sectional championship game. Probably going to be facing the Bellevue Redmen. Bellevue is seeded number 1, and they open up against the Vermilion Sailors, and Perkins has the winner of that game a week from Friday in the Big House. Brian Wagner coming up with a steal for St. Mary's. And Mike Miller takes it right back. St. Mary's in tournament play. Of course, drew the first seed at Fort Clinton, and they get a first round bye. Will take on the winner of the South Central and Monroeville game a week from Friday, 6:30. In fact, both these teams play their first tournament games at the same time, Friday at 6:30. Perkins playing in the Big House at SHS, and St. Mary's, of course, playing in the Division 4 at Fort Clinton. Can't be doing that stuff right in front of the referee. I know that. Well, Patrick Phillips, I think you have seen the last of him in this ball game, and the last time on the floor as a senior, along with Gary Lawrence, who have been great partners in crime all season long and creating havoc throughout the SBC. Game of the Week sponsors include BGSU, Firelands College, your university opportunity. Ehovie Career Center, with the education you need, our assist to the game sponsor. Fan of the Week each week for Parshauer Eye Center. They're at 2020 Hayes Avenue. High Miler Food Stores brings you our halftime show every week. They've got 5 convenient locations in our area. Celebrating the past, focusing on the future, that's the good folks at Firelands Regional Medical Center. Cameo Pizza on West Monroe Street, celebrating 65 years of service this year. And Matthews Ford Lincoln Mercury, your A&Z Plan headquarters on East Perkins Avenue. Great way to spend a day eating pizza. Our Game of the Week sponsors include Gunlock Sheet Metal Works, Periodical Publishers Service Bureau Incorporated, also the good folks at JC Ready Mix, and Spear Brothers Construction Incorporated, along with Bosco Cement. look, isn't it, as we get back into the final few minutes of the Game of the Week presentation for this week. And a lot of bodies rolling in off the bench now for Tom Kowaleski. Jared Clare on the floor along with Brian Wagner, who's been out there for a while. Aaron Kowaleski on the floor now along with Matt Borsick. And Adam Kay still out there. Chris Schultz towing things up at the line for the Pirates. A lot of points in this fourth quarter, 47 points total. Perkins would score 24 and St. Mary's 23. As I mentioned earlier, though, those middle two quarters were the difference in the game, where St. Mary's outscored Perkins in this game 48-19. And halfway through the fourth quarter right here as Jared Clare knocks down that jumper from out front. And Aaron Richardson answers at the other end. Baseline drive from Giardina. And it's Jared Clare slashing to the hole for another one. Jared Clare is a junior, hitting his 4 points total for the game in the fourth quarter. The seniors, again, that St. Mary's loses will be Derek Matthews, Adam Kowaleski, Matt Borsick, Patrick Phillips, Gary Lawrence, Brian Wagner, and Tom Fluting. So they lose almost half the roster as Adam Kowaleski comes out for the final time as well. You lose half the roster and you think, oh boy, we're going to be in trouble the next year. But, you know, again, when you look at the depth of that sophomore class, that's what they'll hang their hats on for a few years yet. North Coast High School Sports Radio Network winds down the regular season Friday night by bringing you the Huron-St. Mary's game. We'll keep updated on that Port Clinton-Oak Harbor game well in the SBC race to the finish. And also spotlight our game break updates, some of the action from the GLL with Sandusky going to Findlay. And then, of course, on our Game of the Week next week, we'll wrap up the regular season with St. Mary's and Huron and that SBC showdown at the Jungle at Huron High School. You'll see it next week right here on TW Teleproductions Game of the Week, St. Mary's and Huron. And we wind you down to the final 2 minutes and 20 seconds of this one in the den. And the Panthers taking a timeout as they got in trouble out front offensively. Just a quick one, though, as they get right back to the action again with Brian Wagner. We've talked to Brian several times about that cheering section of his this year. We got quite a fan club across the way. He's just a great kid, and they just love watching him play. And, you know, I'll tell you what, when you talk about seniors that don't get a lot of playing time, and Brian hasn't this year, played a lot of JV ball last year as a junior, but is there for all the practices and always with a smile on his face. You just kind of love the way he conducts himself, and that's, I guess, where the fan club comes from, maybe. They just got a clip of the coaches on the bench a few moments ago shaking hands. They know that they've closed out the season successfully, and when you've got a bunch of seniors that have meant so much to a program like these guys have, you like to see them finish it with Devin Phillips getting that baseline jumper. That's part of the future of St. Mary's right there, just a sophomore. You like to see the seniors be able to close out on a positive note, and that sure is what these guys have done with a big 89-56 victory in the den. Our assist to the game is coming up next. It's sponsored by Ehovie Career Center, providing the education you need. And our assist to the game right here, not bad. Adam Kowaleski down the lane to Derek Matthews. Woo! That's a pretty looking assist to the game for Ehovie Career Center in Milan. And your Cameo Pizza three-pointer of the week coming up next. Cameo celebrating on West Monroe.
Now it's time for the Cameo Pizza three-pointer of the game. Go Pirates! Go Flash!
And here it comes. Gary Lawrence coming up from the low post. Getting his spot open out front and absolutely draining that three. For the Cameo Pizza, it's your three-pointer of the week, Gary Lawrence, St. Mary's Central Catholic. And up next, we've got your play of the game for Firelands Regional Medical Center, celebrating the past and focusing on the future. Well, you remember this one. Adam Kowaleski quarterbacks that ball down the floor. Watch the fans come up once again. And it says it all right there. Fans on their feet saluting another Patrick Phillips dunk, his final one of the year in the den. For Matthews Ford Lincoln Mercury, your player of the game is up next, and we're going to go two ways with this one. We're going to go to Gary Lawrence, who finished with 22 points on the night in his last home game as a senior in the den. And we're also going to go to, of course, Patrick Phillips, who had 31 points in the game, coming out with just over 5 minutes left to go in the game. 53 points between the duo of Phillips and Lawrence. They are your Matthews Ford Lincoln Mercury players of the game. Now another fun night in the den for the Panthers, who increased their record to 17-2 on the season. Remarkable anytime you can put together a record like that. And they go for 18-2 against Huron. That's one of their two losses from earlier this year, was right here in the den. They lost to the Tigers. And to get a piece of the crown on Friday night, they must beat the Huron Tigers. And we'll have it for you next week on TW Teleproductions Game of the Week. And hopefully you'll be right alongside to wrap up the regular season along with us as we get set to clear the deck for tournament action coming up next. See you next week